Saya baru lagi dari makam pahlawan untuk mengiringi jenazah mantan Perdana Menteri dan juga alumni Universiti Malaya, sahabat dan keluarga Tun Abdullah Badawi. Jadi wajar saya ambil kesempatan ini untuk mengajak saudara baca Fatihah atau tafakur, mengenang dan mendoakan agar roh dicucuri rahmat. Al-Fatihah. Rakan-rakan yang saya muliakan, Saudara Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi Zamri ataupun Aisyah Ong, Nur Azwan, Naib Chancellor, Profesor Khadijah yang menyelenggara, dan Anwar, dan ahli lembaga, dan rakan-rakan yang saya muliakan. Ramai menteri-menteri ada ni, Chan Likang ada, Menteri Perpaduan pun ada, menteri ada, dan yang penting juga ramai ahli parlimen. Itu perkembangan baik di Malaysia ni. Daripada bergelut soal-soal remeh-temeh. Jadi ini ada isu yang agak lebih substantif, berbicara soal bangsa, negara dan masa depan peradaban. Dan wajar saya juga nyatakan penghargaan khususnya pada Profesor Osman Bakar dan Profesor Izam Maudin yang sebenarnya mengenai badan dan dialog peradaban Universiti Malaya menyusuli dialog Islam dan Konfusianisme. Jadi kalau saya diizinkan singkap sebentar tentang pengalaman 30 tahun yang lalu, ini agak penting untuk kita fahami. Kita hidup di Malaysia ini dalam negara yang pelbagai kaum, pelbagai agama, walaupun Islam agama persekutuan dan majoriti rakyatnya orang Melayu. Tapi kita sedar walaupun kita berkawan, bersahabat, berjiran, belajar satu kuliah puluhan tahun, tapi tidak ada upaya secara bersungguh-sungguh untuk memahami dan menghormati dalam semangat Al-Quran, lita'arafu. Berapa orang Islam yang tahu tentang Confucianism, tentang faham agama Buddha atau Hindu, sekadar tahu kerana mereka hidup dengan kita, makan, minum dan sama-sama kita dalam hidup, dalam perjuangan. Berapa ramai orang-orang bukan Islam yang tahu Islam agama persekutuan, yang tahu kita puasa, yang tahu ada masjid, tapi hampir tidak tahu tentang Islam, sejarahnya dan peradabannya. Jadi yang kita mampu ialah kerana sekadar mendapat asakan dari media, dan apalagi media yang dikuasai Barat, yang punya sejarah yang tersendiri. Saudara-saudara sedia tahu tentang pandangan yang dilontarkan oleh Edward Said dalam Orientalism atau culture imperialism, yang dianggap tour de force ataupun penyanggahan yang paling keras terhadap pemikiran dominan yang menganggap Barat dan budaya Barat itu superior, tak ada masalah, tapi menghina yang lain, sama ada Islam atau Arab atau India atau Cina atau yang lain. The other itu dengan konotasi meremeh dan merendahkan. So suggest that we reflect the past experience as to why we strongly advocated the idea of dialogue, Islam and Confucianism. Yes, most dialogues are Islam in the West, Islam and Christianity, which remains quite relevant. But it is particularly of a particular importance here in Malaysia and in ASEAN and the region that we choose to understand the majority of Asians who are, in a way or other, influenced by Confucianist ideals. So we promoted, we were very fortunate, they were able to assemble scholars and intellectual luminaries internationally with the support of the private sector and some of our media, both the Malay and the Chinese media in this country. We had, for example, scholars from Muslim scholars, Islamic scholars from the Muslim world, from the West. We had this outstanding new Confucianist scholar at that time, Harvard, now in Beijing, Tu Weiming, who admitted to me, and with full humility, unlike many scholars, hopefully not here, he says, Anwar, I've been talking about civilization, Confucianism, Neo-Confucianism, Northern Sung dynasty, but I had never had that opportunity to reflect and understand what Muslims and Islam think and consider important as a basic tenet and belief system. And it was here, with this encounter, that he realized, being an expert in Neo-Confucianist ethics and philosophy, that he needs to grapple with this issue, because otherwise he's only fed with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and the battle and the civil wars and the strong prejudice against the Muslims and Islam, as now reflected in what is considered or popularly known as Islamophobia. That was the background. So I was discussing with Osman. Osman, a scholar, he doesn't worry about money or stuff. He just says, I think, are you serious? I said, of course. Then set up this center. Yeah, and I said, well, we need to, then you are also finance minister. So he thinks he can give instructions to me. And unfortunately, he did. And we set it up. And thank you to him and Azizan following that and many others. But let us reflect in all seriousness and honesty. Have we succeeded? Yes, we did what we could. Have we succeeded? I would say, in all honesty, we have not. The rancor or rancorous exchanges in terms of rising fascism, racism, religious bigotry has been increasing. Notwithstanding so much talk about da'wah bil hikmah, which means you want to promote da'wah with wisdom. Wal maw'azatil hasana wajadilhum millati ahsan. Repeated 3 times. You want to promote Islam? Yes. What is the criteria? 1, hikmah. And 2, ihsan. That means it must be wise, and but it's not reflected in what we do, what we hear, what we see. Sometimes it is full of hatred and misunderstanding, prejudices, and playing to this gallery. And from time to time we'll have problems with some mosque or some Hindu temple, and here you are. Never mind about facts, never mind about truth, never mind about correctness. It's just how you can incite the hatred and distrust for one another. And it's not easy. The level of sophistication, exposure in terms of knowledge in the West, particularly Europe, United States, of course, is accepted. Nobody questioned that the level of understanding and technological advancement and quality education is far superior in the West. But at the same time, you have also growing fascism. It is clearly a contradiction in terms. How is it possible that those who have acquired knowledge, promoted as doctors of letters, and promoted as professors, and not able to profess anything wise or promoting good values, but preaching hatred? So there's some basic flaw, deficiency, or deficit in what we understand as education, or quality of education, or the purpose of life. That's why I tried in this Madani. I don't know what Zamri may think that is a bit too philosophical, or I don't know, but he didn't say it to me. No, I'm joking, don't worry. But why I've been pushing this idea to say, yes, should Malaysia focus on economic development? Yes. Should economic development and growth become fundamental to ensure our success as a nation? Affirmative. But what's the meaning of success and development and progress when people become semi-literate and dogmatic, inhuman, and condone oppression, abuse of power, or endemic corruption, as you have seen? I was here, no, I'm not talking 50 years ago, I'm talking recently. When we're talking about some of the financial scandals and fiasco, including the YMDB. Don't blame just one person. System was at the fault. Where are the voices of reason? Where are the voices who talk about values in the universities? Why the silence among those elites? So we have to actually answer this very fundamental, pertinent question. What went wrong? Of course, because our education, what we promote, does not also promote understanding, tolerance, and good values. Well, they say we are all educated, we have that, but no. But is this a dream? No. It has been practiced in the past. There's so much tolerance in the past. Yes, you can cite, for example, Nur Azwan was talking about, his wars. Khadija was talking also, yes, there were. Undoubtedly, it's historical fact. Not only among Islam and Christians, or Islam and Hindus, but among the Christians, the Catholics and the Protestants, they cost millions of lives. I was telling my friends, some Muslim groups recently, he was shocked and dismayed. They said, what? I was telling him about the Crusades. The Crusades only known to be is Muslim-Christian warfare. I said, not entirely true. If you study the history of the Crusade, the first group they slaughtered was the Orthodox Church in Constantinople. You see? Because they think that the Greek Orthodox Church does not represent the true brand of Christianity. Similarly, in Islam, some of the more fanatical segments, factions, sects can be easily prone to this mentality of Khawarij, which means an extreme interpretation. We represent the righteous and the right, and we cannot therefore condone, for whatever reason, those who differ, because they will create mischief and fasad fil ard, which means or corruption and destruction on earth. So you have that. But we have also great news stories, a great tale, which must be promoted in this dialogue, which includes, of course, the period of convivencia in the Andalusian experience. You see, the 400 years prior to the defeat and the decadence of Andalusia was this attempt by Christians, Muslims, and Jews working, learning, having this huge exchanges, not rancorous, not of hatred, but to prove that we are in a way presenting the better view, better vision. And there was this healthy philosophical, intellectual debate, forging understanding and respect. They respect knowledge, although you do not necessarily represent the Islamic viewpoint, or the Christians, not the Christian viewpoint, or the Jews. This I remember the address, the Georgetown University in 1993, I think, where I then tried and popularized this convivencia concept, that how those who have this measure of understanding and tolerance should then promote. We are not promoting same faith or same set of differently. However understanding and tolerant I am, I pray differently, I fast differently. That's my belief system. But this does not warrant hatred and enmity. Because the Buddhists may fast differently, of course, and pray differently, and meditate differently. And the mantra can be longer than us. I do appreciate that. Yeah. I tried sitting down with some of my Buddhist friends near Bangkok. You see, we go to Bangkok to do the mantra. I don't know, Nona Zuan went to Bangkok for what? No, okay, back to this focus issue about dialogue or civilization. For us, to me, why we promote values like Madani? Because it's our survival. First, we are promoting what we believe as the truth, at the right period. We are human beings. I don't choose to be a Malay. I'm born a Malay. You don't choose to be a Chinese, or you don't choose this color. Some people are not too happy with the color. They have this whitening process. Okay? We don't choose to be that. So this is the beauty to us as Muslims, the creation of Allah. That's why the term is ta'arafu, and recognition of different tribes. Even during the Prophet, the period of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know about, okay, the Mecca, the Meccan community, the Quraysh, and of course, Yathrib, the Medina, different sects, but okay, they are different, they are all Arabs. But you have Salman Farsi, elevated to a very high pedestal. The Sahaba companion that suggested the first translation of the Quran into a foreign language, Persian. You have Bilal al-Habasha, the black Bilal, thick lips, dark complexion, but elevated as a companion and family of the Prophet. There's one incident, for example, but this is not promoted. Why is promoted? Sometimes you see, not that I'm intolerant listening to some of this tazkirah. They just, how the Christians are trying to take over and Christianize Penang. My goodness, I'm from Penang. And that the azan is not heard in Penang. I think you went probably at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no azan. Okay, or probably hard of hearing. And then, this influence of Chinese political party is a threat to the country. I mean, you go on. Why don't you come out with a solution? Why don't you come up with it? Well, there are also some strength and goodness in them. Of course, there's some rotten Chinese, not here, I mean, Chanchu, Linka, they are good people. But there are some nasty guys. But so are there some nasty Malays or nasty Indians and Hindus. So what? Choose the good ones, promote the good ones. They represent our conscience, our values. That's important. But you don't go and preach hatred and feeling of insecurity. We will destroy the fabric of this country, and nobody would gain. You see, in any multiracial pluralistic society or country, it's a major battle. How to ensure there is peace and political stability. Without that, there's no dialogue. What dialogue are you talking about when there's ensuing battle and fighting? So we are a unique position. We are, alhamdulillah, in a unique position in Malaysia, notwithstanding some of the problems and skirmishes that we have to endure from time to time. We are in a unique position to showcase that we can survive and manage as a community. But what I'm saying is reflecting what is the present predicament that we have to accept. What? For the last 30 years, Osman, you've been preaching about dialogue. I want you to talk to some of our members of parliament to understand that. They have absolutely zero understanding about appreciating and understanding and respecting one another. Some of the speeches represent just the most extreme voice against reason. On that, you want the National Unity Minister struggling to try and promote the understanding. Good luck to him. But we cannot fail. So that is why I come here. And colleagues in Universiti Malaya, to show, to not only impress upon you, but to show that we are committed to this. And we cannot fail. All right? This must be this voice of reason. I always say they challenge. They says, Anwar, under you, you're too multiracial, you're too kind to the rest, we will fail. I say we fail not because we are friendly with the non-Malays. We fail because we condone corrupt leaders, irresponsible and semi-literate leaders representing our cause. We fail because of that. We must succeed if we talk about reason, about respect, about good governance and good values that transcend race. And that to me is what dialogue is all about. And of course, I forget, I'm not in a lecture hall. They could see my passion, my excitement. Zamri always say to me that I am in the wrong profession. Because you see me enjoying this, giving these sort of lectures. I forgot, but I have a text actually, yeah. Yeah, very academic, very, okay. So in conclusion, let me say this, that firstly, these dialogues are critical for our survival, to understand, appreciate one another, to realize that we are after all human beings. That's the karama insaniya. The beauty and is to promote that sort of understanding and recognize human dignity. If you say human dignity, it transcends class, race, or religious belief. It's what is just, what is right. And it can only be done through some ihsan and rahmah, compassion, and strong believer in the principle of justice. Is it easy? No. I can tell you, now that I'm here in the stewardship of this country, I am telling you it's not easy. Not many would appreciate this. If I talk to the masses or the so-called elites in KL or Ipoh or Penang or Sabah or Sarawak, not many will appreciate. But here comes the Prime Minister who wants to promote strongly dialogue between races, between religions, between civilizations. So it's not just a political gimmick. I don't think I must garner more votes just because I think I need to promote this dialogue. But believe me, and I am appreciative of the fact that so many of our younger MPs are here, that we must be convinced, firstly, this is the right thing to do. Because that's what all our religions tell us. Justice and human dignity. And secondly, which is of paramount importance for a multi-ethnic country like Malaysia, this is a guarantee for our own survival. You fall prey to these desperate, semi-literate politicians harping on issues of race and religion. Yes, it's easier. Learn from the experience in Europe. It's easier to be a fascist, to talk about your survival as a race, than to talk about wisdom and compassion and human dignity. So I'm not discouraging you, I'm just telling you this is our challenge. A challenge to teachers and professors, a challenge to universities. We have to promote what is right, what can guarantee our peace and security, or to fall prey to the voices of unreason and which cause calamity to this country. Jadi sekali lagi saya ucap terima kasih kepada saudara kerana sabar sekali dengar. Dan percayalah saya bercakap dengan perasaan dari hati sanubari untuk menggalakkan persefahaman yang lebih baik di kalangan kita dalam rantau ASEAN dan Asia sebagai contoh untuk kita sampaikan kepada dunia bahawa dalam keadaan pertembungan yang sengit, yang tidak menentu, pembenturan fahaman dan idea, masih ada upaya di kalangan yang mahu pertahankan prinsip hidup, kemurnian yang berdasarkan nilai sejagat. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.